I'm giving Fit Nation's N1 Permanent, also known as Black Bible. I'm here with David Braben, and he's going to tell us about Elite Dangerous. So tell us about the game, man.
Elite Dangerous is a brand new space game coming on December the 16th, and in it you get given a small spacecraft, a small amount of money, and you can do what you like. You could go and mine or trade, or you could be a pirate. If someone else does all the mining and trading, you can then nick their stuff. Or, better still, you could go after the pirates. You could be a pirate killer, a bounty hunter. You could be an assassin taking revenge on people. Or you could be an explorer and just head right out into the unknown. Right, we've got a huge galaxy, something like 400 billion star systems, which is just such a stupid number. But the reason it's that stupid number is that is our real galaxy. Every single star in the night sky is in the game. And a lot that aren't, that we can see with telescopes, are also in the game, something like 160,000. It's just such a stupid number, but to someone like me who's interested in that sort of thing, it really matters to know that what we've got up there is as right as we can make it. We can use real sky surveys to get all the stars in there and to make sure they're all in the right positions, they're the right types, and we've then used fancy algorithms to simulate where they are. So even with Hubble, we can only see the small red stars called M-class stars. They're actually the most common ones in the galaxy. The nearest star to the Sun, called Proxima Centauri, is a red M-class star. And you can see it with binoculars, you just can't see it with the naked eye. And even Hubble can't see beyond 40 or 50 light years. It can't see these small stars. But it sees them as a sort of smoke. You know, in the same way we see smoke, the smoke might well be individual particles, but we can't resolve individual ones. But what we do is we use algorithms to populate that space with those stars. So they're all there, the right number are there, we can't see exactly where each one is.
You know, what inspired this game, and can you tell us a little bit about the story?
Well, this is the fourth in a series. Way back in 1984, Ian Bell, a friend at university, and I released the first game in the series. Elite Dangerous is now the fourth game in a series, which we've come back to after a long, long time. It's an exciting story that you develop. But what's happened now is we've got the Federation, which is it's grown up out of Earth and expanded over a huge volume of space. But we've also got, way back nearly 1,000 years ago. So our game is set in the year 3300, which sounds like a long time in the future. But we've worked out a sort of timeline. 1,000 years ago, from our viewpoint in the future, these people set out with a glorified wagon train and settled on Ashenar, which is a bright star in the night sky, and it's got a gas giant around it with several inhabitable planets. Anyway, they headed out, figuring out they would go as far as they could go, over 100 light years, and settled there. But then, over time, over that 1,000 years, space was settled from both directions, and then they met again in the middle. And now we're in this wonderful state of Cold War. Now, from a player's point of view, Cold War is really good, because they can really affect things, and they can be a hero. So you could imagine in the 1960s when you had the US and Soviet Union in a state of Cold War, you have someone could go into the Soviet Union and do things, spy and all this sort of thing, and then be a hero back home. So the way you can play legal systems against each other, that's what it's like in the game now. And also, it's almost like player voting. You can affect the way things are going. So if a government is being destabilized, maybe the Federation are helping one side, and maybe the Empire are surreptitiously helping the other side. But you can then tip the balance. If all the players go and weigh in on the side of the rebels will win. And that's great. So the story is told over time. And this is what's starting on 16th of December. We start to unfold this story, because the other great thing is the Emperor is sick. Now, when that happens, and this is based on stories from Roman times, with Caligula and Crassus and Julius Caesar, all that sort of, all vying for power for the throne. If you like, it's what I suspect Game of Thrones was based on. But imagine a sort of our storytelling being sort of parallel to that, where you've got these different power groups, if you like, and you are siding with one or the other. And the number of players that do that will actually determine the side that wins out in the conflict in the end. So I'm very, very excited about that, because I think it will work out as, almost like when you watch a box set, the game story will gradually unfold, but you will be able to influence it. I think that's great fun. That's something that hasn't really happened before.
Now, as far as gameplay, I got to play with Mad Cat's joystick. What do you feel like most people gravitate to as far as how they actually fly, and what type of, you think, they prefer the pad more, or how does gameplay work as far as what you use as a peripheral?
Well, the great thing with PC gaming is each to their own. So a lot of people will start off with mouse and keyboard, and a lot of PC gaming is still mouse and keyboard. But also, an awful lot of it is using either Xbox or PlayStation pads. And to be honest, when we first started developing, we were using pads primarily. But we started using these big sort of hot-ass joysticks, as they're called, and they're great. They are fantastic because they're so immersive. And I prefer playing with those, actually, now I've played with them. But they're an expensive thing, but it's a nice way to upgrade. And beauty with doing a game like this, I mean, we're doing this as an independent developer, which means we can experiment with these things. We can support this. We can support things like 4K because it's fun. We can support things like Oculus Rift, which are wonderful. It's amazing to see all around you, to look in a cockpit. It's great fun, and that's what matters. So I think playing with I still play a lot with a pad, even though I've got one of these fancy joysticks, because actually they're a pig to carry around. So if I'm travelling, I take the joystick. But having said that, it's like people listen to a radio show on a portable radio or on headphones. It's actually much better to listen to it in the sitting room with 5.1. So if you like, the hot-ass arrangement is the sitting room with 5.1 sound and everything, whereas, otherwise, you might be playing on a laptop. It's each to their own. It's what you can stretch to, and maybe over time, if you really like it, you'll go out and get one of these.
Before I get to my really all-ball question, let me ask you, what I like so far is the fact that, I have the choice of being a pirate if I wanted to in space, a bounty hunter, or, working as a team, working solo. I have so many varieties and how I want to play. Can you give us a little bit more detail, the gamers out there, how much you can really do, how you can really get your money or just create the game for yourself?
Okay, so the great thing is because you can do what you like, you can do it the way that you like, that being able to do it with friends, I think is really good. But also we've designed the game so you can pick up and play it. But there is a lot of richness to gradually discover. You can play stealthily, so we've got a way which seems bizarre in space because obviously things are very visible, but actually they're only visible because they give out heat. Because the scanners in the game are all what we call passive. They're relying on emitted radiation. We do have active radar as well. But active radar is so easy to track and send a missile down. It's just dangerous. And in the game, when you turn on active scanning, so when you're scanning a planetary system, you are then visible throughout that system. And that's very dangerous when there are pirates around. So what we've tried to do is create lots of subtlety to the gameplay that you can really bury yourself in it, if you like. You can become an expert at stealth and doing sneaky kills, and you can kit out your ship in great detail by making sure you've got all the pieces of kit that make that kind of gameplay really exciting and really, really possible. So in the game, you don't choose to be any one of these roles, and you could do a bit of both. You can be a bit of piracy while you're doing your trading, or whatever. But the point is you can choose to kit your ship out to do the things you like most. So if you like mining, there's kit you can buy for that. Exploring, I've talked about the radars, but also you can have a long-range ship that has lots of kit in for scanning and all that sort of thing. And so what I enjoy is that you can just immerse yourself in the game. This is a world that you can be part of, and you can do it with your friends. We've got ship-to-ship communication using voice or using text, or both. We've got ways you can go in together to do things, so people can protect you while you're carrying valuable commodities, or you can call for help.
So now, just ask this question just to see how you would respond to it. But so, we have, there's a lot of games that do a lot of different types of cameos, maybe it's a possibility in the future that you might want to do a few cameos as far as either special ships or special characters. For example, you speak a lot of the Empire, so maybe the Millennium Falcon can make an appearance as far as a ship, if you can get something with Star Wars, Disney, or Doctor Who and the TARDIS.
I think all these things would be possible. We'd have to. It's up to other people as well. Yeah. I think the beauty with science fiction is each world has its own set of rules, and they're all slightly different. And what we're doing, we've already got, I think it's 15 books set in the world of Elite Dangerous, where it's amazing the really rich diversity of stories that are already out now. That are all show that there's such a solid world, such a rich world behind it, that you can do what you like. And these are stories ranging from conspiracy within the empire to aliens to all sorts of things to comedies. And I think the fun thing is with any science fiction world. I mean, I'm a huge fan of science fiction, always have been, and it's partly why I wanted the galaxy to be real, because I love things that have real grounding. But it's that sort of thing. I think if you do the things that you love, and we really do love what we're doing, that you see the quality, you can see the love that's been poured into it, and that's what really comes over. And I think other things like obviously I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, Doctor Who and things like that, but maybe they should get in touch with us.
Like I said, it'd be cool. You somehow found a way to make the TARDIS combat ready, and you see, you can see this little blue box flying around shooting at you. That'd be cool. But yeah, I really like what you're doing with the game. I found it very impressive. It looks good, especially how it came off on the Oculus and the way the game controls were. I was able to pick up right away, especially if for people who are into flight type simulators, it's very easy. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, we look forward to it.
You're very, very welcome, and thank you very much for coming in, and thanks for the pie. It was lovely.
Okay, yes. Yes, the pie was lovely today. All right. Anyway, I'm giving Nations and 1 also on this Black Bible. I'm trying my best to convince this man to get, the TARDIS in the game. So,
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Peace.